Okay, first thing you want to make sure you're doing is clear everything in the game pod that you currently can. There's a bunch of free rewards. It's not really too difficult, and anytime you hit a point where it becomes difficult, you can just ignore it for a while and let it build up some stuff you'll be able to clear later. You're going to want to visit the main city every day to get your quest. You can take 6 quests in a day, and you choose which ones you are interested in. Each of these quests gives you pretty meaningful rewards and will keep you rolling with funds and things of the sort. You do not need to do the harder ones unless you feel like it, but the rewards are better the higher the difficulty is rated. Another thing you need to keep in mind is anytime you're trying to find something, make use of the map filters. This is easily overlooked and forgotten about, but you can drill down and pick out what you're looking for all kinds of different resources, and it'll at least give you a rough idea where you need to go looking. As far as your pets are concerned, all of the pets that have an evolution are easily combat capable at the higher tiers. You do not need to worry that much. Many of the pets that don't have evolutions are still also pretty viable. One of my personal favorites is the Blush Puff so far, mostly for its size. You do not need to spend real money to get most of the evolution pills, though you will have to spend some time selling things on the auction house to get the currency necessary. Once you have a pet you intend to stick with, you want to use maturity pills to raise its stats. This is a huge boost to the stats of your pet and is going to be critical to making them, well, not fall over immediately when they get into a fight. Eventually, you'll want to either evolve the pet, which requires you to have specific parts for the pets that are capable of being evolved, more being added, or you want to upgrade the rarity of the pet. To do so, you need to feed it pet eggs. The easiest way to do this is to feed it generic pet eggs till its chance of absorption is up to 100%, then feed it one of the specific eggs that it requires. You can check in the pet menu to see what eggs are required for each tier that you're trying to raise a given pet. As far as gear goes, when it comes to weapons, try everything. Find something you like. They're all going to work. Some are going to do a little bit more damage. Some are going to be a little bit more defensive. But they all even out in the end. And in most cases, if you're equally geared to the other people around you, the difference in damage you see is either from pets or from somebody having more access to the weak point of the enemy you're fighting. Once you're all in blue gear and around 15,000 power, you should start soloing Grand Beasts, and for the most part, they'll be fairly easy. Some are significantly harder than others because of their abilities, but this is about the time you should be able to take most of them without too much trouble. You're going to need to be killing them at this stage to get their drops. Make sure that you're not attacking the ones that say full magic power, because those are intended to be captured and will not drop any drops if you kill them. And if you're trying to upgrade your gear, you're after the drops. They will drop both of your next 2 tiers of gear, as well as much of the materials to make the gear. Once you've pinned down the weapons you like, spend some time adjusting your stars to buff your favored weapon. You can also get double and triple jump a bit from the star abilities as well, which can be extremely convenient or just fun, and really isn't a significant loss to you, and doesn't require too significant of an investment to consider it less worth other options. Once you get to purple gear, you're going to want to start thinking about moving stats off of old gear to your new gear with the refiner. This will allow you to further boost the power of your gear. Aside from gear, you can also increase your stats and attributes through sigils. Do not ignore these. These are a significant portion of your power. You do not have to dedicate all your time to upgrading and making sure they're great, but don't just throw stuff in there and ignore it forever, because eventually you'll be wondering why you can't get your power level up. When building your base, you're going to need to make sure you have enough room to make storage boxes, as well as space for each of the crafting benches. There are several crafting benches. You will need them all. Eventually, you're going to start farming. At that point, you're looking to make sure you have a stable food supply, and more importantly, health pots for you and your pet. The farm is able to become a very large area, so keep that in mind when you're placing it, because it expands by an entire ring in size around it every time you upgrade it. You're going to need fertilizer for both the fields and the plants. There are more advanced fertilizers, But for the most part, you'll probably be using your excess dew and plant ash. Plant ash comes from burning plant materials such as parasitic grass or flowers or any other plant matter in the blast furnace or the cultivator. Some will only result in plant ash in the cultivator, but for the most part you'll be able to burn everything in the blast furnace, which is significantly faster because you can do entire stacks at a time. You're required to fertilize the farm plot for the plant to grow at all, and you fertilize the plant to reduce the time it takes to grow. If the fertilizer runs out on the plot before the plant is fully grown, it will pause its growth. If the plant is fully grown and it runs out of fertilizer, the plant will wither. If it withers, it's gone. When you finally get the sprinklers, they can make your life a lot more comfortable, but they can also get you in trouble by very easily wasting your resources. They're not smart, and they will use whatever amount you tell them to use, even if it is way too much. Also, you need to be very careful as to whether you're choosing the fertilize option or the farming option. Fertilize will fertilize the plants and will do nothing for the ground below, and farming will fertilize the farm plot and won't do anything for the plants above. Growing plants will give you essence that will be used to upgrade farm plots to higher tiers. The higher tier farm plots don't let you grow more or better plants. They just allow for a higher amount of fertilization to go into them, allowing you more time between you checking in on your farm. Technically, your plants can be stolen. If you tend to them somewhere near the time they've completed growing, you will likely not have to worry, as you'll not be outside of the protection time.